Hello everyone. Let's continue to introduce voice messages. How to deliver a voice message. Okay, for example, when you leave a voice message, you could or you may say good morning, afternoon, or evening. This is John or Jessica speaking from the hotel. And now we could not send your fax even though we have tried a couple of times. So, could you please contact us at the extension, the number, and then when you're available, you can contact with us. Thank you. And this is an example of a voice message. And let's continue to discuss the phone services. Just remember that when you're working on these divisions, you have a lot of time to answer and transfer the outside call or pick up the call from your guests. Just remember that prepare your confident service for all calls, not only come from outside or inside. And better yet, screen the call just like make sure the record for your wrinkles. Just make sure you have a copies for your interaction information for the guests. That will be better. And next example is a wake-up call service. Let's talking about how you provide the wake-up call service for your guests. Generally, when you do this service, the call almost comes from the inside from your guests. And wake-up call, why the wake-up call is so important is because of that. Because your customer, they will be going to for their meeting or flight or appointment. So you have to make sure the wake-up call should be exactly according to the customer's requests. Okay, so just remember that you have to set up an automatic machine or by your handle with your wake-up call service. I think generally and in 21st century, I think the majority of hotels almost invest automatic wake-up call machines or some IT applications. Okay. And the last part, it's about front desk operations. When you walk into these divisions, this department is the most visible to the public. Means you have a larger chance to contact and directly contact with your guests. Maybe from an initial greeting to helping making guests stay, or potential guests, or some maybe the local people maybe asking you where is the toilet. Anyone, just remember that when you walk into these divisions, you have to be confident and answer and reply their questions, and then they can have a good impressions for your hotels. Okay, and now we will discuss in this divisions about the what job or what responsibility you should understand that. And the first one I think is the core work. Let's talk about the check-in and check-out procedure. Now I make a flow chart to discuss when a guest arrives into your hotel. They may have three situations. The first one is about the guest without reservation, just walk in. And secondly, guests with they have already reservations for your hotel. The last one, like I said previously, you may have a contact or a group in your travel agencies. So when you contact with them, then you have to make a greet, say hello to them, and ask them about they have a reservation or not. And next part, it's about the three conditions you have to do that. You should ask them, do you have any reservation? And then introduce your room types and plus special attractions, including the room rates. And this replies is based on the guests who without any reservations. If you say that I find a reservation for this guest and confirm the particular via the computer, when you do this work, definitely is consistent with the guest they have already the reservation for your hotel. The last dialogue is about confirming your group names and some information for or relate to your travel agencies to make sure how many rooms or any change or any requirements. If you make sure this deal is existed in your computer, then you distribute the guest keys to the tour guide or tour leader, and then they will send them to their guests. Okay? And better yet, you have to make sure confirming the needs of a wake-up call or what time they want to have a breakfast or some luggage pickup service or other details. And then allocate your rooms to make sure what room number or how many rooms, and assist the guests in filling the registration card and confirm the mode of payment and handle accordingly. Then make sure the room key fulfill the welcome card and ask the bellboy or porter to escort or deliver the guests to their rooms, update the information in the computer, and then do the fulfilling accordingly. Now, I just introduce some the registration card or some work in this working divisions. The first part is about the registration card. As a card is talking about the information related to or printed the guest's name, their status, the date of birth, the valid card, and some information like their individual personal notes like address, the date of arrival and departure time, and room rates, the mode of payments, such and so on. Okay. Sometimes this card is following the sample of registration card or some reservation card. Here is an example. You have to make sure what the information about your guests. So you can see that the nationality, the date of birth, and then what kind of payment from the visa or cash. Then, what the date of arrival and the departure and the route information and hosted by whom, suppose of the stay, what kind of purpose from their travel or business or official meeting, what kind of purpose of the stay. And then make sure what the payments from your guests. And if they have any requirements, any requests, you should take a note in these lines. Okay. And also, you have to remember that if your room should be plus another service charge, according to your government, you can tell them just like this statement. In your hotel, the rate is subject to a 15 surcharge and any other applicable government tax. Safe box provided at the front desk or in the guest room is available for use free of charge. Okay, and then make sure if this form with any problems, and tell the guest just sign in here. Okay. And next slide is talking about welcome card. When guests enter your rooms, you should prepare a welcome card in which they may talking about the guest's name, room notes, the date of arrival, departure. And let's talking about this information. You may curious or have questions. When the guest going to your front desk, you have to make sure and reconfirm to each other about the arrival time, the date, why you have to take a note related to this information, right? That is because make sure when the guests have a plan or want to change this information noted into welcome card, just try to make sure or remind them the date of arriving or departure. If they want to change them, you have better make a phone call to ask exchange. And some information is about the state on the duty room rates. They may always usually print it on the card to make sure if you have any argument, they will understand you have already printed on the card. Meanwhile, the room keys and the breakfast coupon are always inserted in the welcome card or welcome envelope. Next work is about the checkout procedures. Again, politely, kindly ask your guests to return your room key when they want to check out. And meanwhile, you have to inform your housekeeping clerk or some employees to look in your rooms for minibar and consumption and forgotten items. Generally speaking, when a guest departs in your hotel, sometimes they really forget some items such as watch, cell phone, or bell, and any teeny tiny things in the hotel rooms. So you have to remind them. Maybe they just forget something. So you have to inform your housekeeping to look at to make sure nothing forgotten in the hotel rooms. And then Present the bills to your guests and make sure any charge will be okay. If that's okay, just write down an invoice with the information provided by the guests and settle the account according to the mode of payment. Maybe cash, maybe credit card, or vouchers. And say the farewell using a guest name and intend an invitation to the coming again. And finally, sold out any checks, credit card, slip, or cash payment. Settle the account in the computer. And here's a note. Let's talking about the payment authorization forms. If a guest bill is paid by the any or another guest staying in the hotel, just make sure that confirm with the guest who will pay and look at the payment authorizations form to make sure that previous arrangements have been made and print the bill and get the paid for the guest to sign it. Generally also happens for the travel agencies, I mean the group travelers, or some the businessmen, or some business travel, or some the family members. So you have to make sure and transfer the amounts into the payment guest room accounts in your computers. And here is an example for the situation I said. You can see the room number, the hereby authorize some hotels to charge the transfer, all expenses, specified expenses such as the room charge, the food and beverage, or lounge, or valet, or minibar items, or telephone charge. That's an example to talking about when some charges should be authorized from some cases. Just take a note and make sure that. And then incurred by the room numbers. And why I make a list just like this 3 lines. That means when we're talking about the business travels, our big family guests in which they may have different members. Maybe you should make a lot of lines, at least 3 lines for different room numbers into the account. And then make sure the guest will be responsible for the expenses incurred by the avoided guests. And then take a note the date and time and guest signatures. I believe they may have different jobs or work positions, but due to the time limit, now I go quickly to introduce the different job positions, like a doorman, or very car jockeys, or porters. Based on the different kind of work position, they have different job to do. That means any responsibility for different kind of job. So I just go quickly. Not only 3 work positions, but also they may have some business center, but some full service hotel, they may have similar centers. They may have a wedding center or the other banquet centers. In this part, they should be responsible for such a service they should provide. Okay, like I said previously, maybe when you want to run a limited service hotel, they may put some different kind of department or divisions combine, integrate into a one. But like I say, if you run in a full service or a limited service, you have to make sure based on different kinds of hotel position strategies and then build up or invest different kind of facilities. Okay. And last one, it's about the back office role and the responsibilities. Some manager or some supervisor or some clerk. Okay. Again, due to the time limits, I just introduce some the key or core responsibilities. For example, when you be a reservation manager, you have to manage your room yield, just like a yield management, or supervise your reservation activities, your room, how many rooms leave or how many rooms available, and some reservation information work you should pay attention. And then you tell your reservation clerk, and then they can do something jobs like a process and maintain all individual or group reservation, and actively sell and promote the venue, and process reservation deposits and allocate the rooms. The next one is about the job description for concierge staff and working procedures. And here we should pay attention. You have to make sure your window curtains should be closed if the dark outside, leave it open if the light, and the location of air condition and temperature regulate, and the safe box inside the cabinet, the item inside the writing table drawers, especially the hotel service director, and minibus direction, the bay control plane, and the power socket, hot dryer, and the shower sprinkler inside the bathrooms. As we know, when you go into the hotel, maybe you have some questions, but the front desk receptionist in that situation, I mean, some employee they are busy, but I think especially in a full service hotel, they should set a person as a concierge. They can answer or help any questions come from your requirement. Okay, so this is just an example. Okay, and last part, it's about what factor affecting the hotels. As we know, when you have a huge capital, you may make an investment. The facility just like this one, or some services just like this one. Okay, conference room, swimming pool, or some souvenir, entertainment, and Wi-Fi. In academic literature review, we almost call that is a service package model. They're talking about supporting facilities, implicit service, explicit service, facilitating goods, and some information service. So these factors almost have an impact on your hotels. You just make sure what kind of supporting facilities, facilitating goods and information, or explicit service and implicit service you want to invest to your hotel. Okay, based on different kind of hotel size, hotel scale, but almost the facilities and service can be defined into these 5 dimensions of a service package. Okay, and generally speaking, if you go into a hotel, even a full service or a limited service hotel, you can see these 5 dimensions. The difference between the full service or limited service, just like a label, the label difference, but almost talking about the 5 dimensions of a service package. Okay, so you can see that supporting facilities, just like a tangible facilities or the real equipment, and some implicit services, just like a hospitality service, and some services is talking about explicit service, just like the rooms or some accessory and some items which almost into your hotel rooms, and some facilitating goods, because just like this one, when you go into a restaurant, you want to eat some food and beverage, but they should be sent by their employee or some hospitality and some waiters. Okay, we also call that as a facilitating goods. And last one, it's about the information services, because we almost make a reservation on the internet or telephone. So this just like an intangible service, we almost call it as an information service. Okay, just remember, when you want to build up a hotel business, you should consider the 5 dimensions that have an impact on your hotel. You have to make sure. I believe they should have other macro impacts factors. And here we're just talking about the micro factors that should have an impact. But I believe still have other, just like environmental impacts. Okay, so I believe when we shortly sorting into your hotel business, we should consider some micro factors. Okay, just remember that. Okay, this we almost talking about a service package model for a hotel. Now I can make a conclusion for a service package. All lesser features are experienced by your customer. You have to make sure to set up their perceptions of the service. That's very important. The service manager should be prepared or offer a total experience package for your customers. And then the service and the facilities should be consistent with the desired service package. Okay, just make sure. And here is another scenario. Yeah, if you are interested for your hotel business, but you don't have a lot of money to invest or to build up a full service hotel. So what should you do? Okay, even though you should consider the 5 dimensions of the service package, but you don't have a lot of money, right? The question is very easy to solve out. That means if you cannot invest or not just like a 5 star hotel, just run a small hotel, but you still consider the 5 dimensions for your hotel service. Okay, that's just the difference from the service label. Okay, again, and the conclusion just like that. When you want to build up a hotel, industries, you have to consider the micro impact from the service package, these academic models. Okay, and if you have other types, you can think about the other macro, just like environmental factors. Okay, now due to the time limit, I think this academic model, just like my conclusion, you have to think about that. Supporting facilities, facilitating goods, information service, implicit service, and last one is about the explicit service. If you prepare these 5 dimensions of service package and consistent with your customers' expectation, I believe you can satisfy them. Thank you for your attentions. And I hope you will enjoy my statement and my materials related to about how to run in a hotel business. Thank you.